Good evening, and welcome to the first session of the 16th Congress of the United States. I am Vice President George Kane, and I will be presiding over this fabulous session of the Senate. Good evening, and welcome to the first session of the 16th Congress to order at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This evening, the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Senator Roman Steele. Senator Steele.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic in which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Senator Steele. Seeing that there is no clerk, I will call the roll. Senator Breslin.
Present.
Senator Clark is absent. Senator Gatsby.
Present.
Senator Jacobs.
Present.
Senator Rubio is absent. Senator Sawyer.
Present.
Senator Steele.
Present.
Senator Trafford is here via proxy. Senator Turing.
Present.
Senator Walsh.
Present.
Thank you. With 7 present, 2 absent, 1 proxy, a quorum is present. We will now proceed to the presentation of the agenda. Do all senators have a copy of the agenda? If not, there is a copy in the chat. Are there any motions to modify the agenda?
I motion proceed to a vote.
Is there a second? Senator Jacobs motion, Senator Breslin seconds. Alrighty. All in favor of the motion to approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The motion passes 7-0. We will now proceed to general speeches and opening remarks. The floor is now open.
I request the floor. Does the chair recognize that I request the floor?
Senator Turing, you have the floor.
Thank you. I would like to congratulate all of us that was recently elected to this fine Congress and Senate. Hopefully, we can have a thoughtful discussion and not, get in the way of each other, and actually have meaningful discussion and conversation, and try to, if there are any kinks in any of these pieces of legislation, that we can sort them out peacefully and get to the real issues at hand. With that being said, I hope everyone listening has a great time in this session as well, and any and all senators here have a great session as well. And with that, I yield my time.
The senator yields. The floor is still open for general remarks. Senator Walsh is recognized.
Thank you. Well, I'd first like to say that it's a pleasure to be in the 16th Congress with all of you today, and I would like to say that while I've been at odds with many people in the Senate today, many current members of the Senate, I'm hoping that we can look past that and work toward progress and work toward, as Pierre said, working out the kinks in our bills, and kind of, not arguing. So I yield.
Thank you, Senator Walsh. The floor is still open. Does anyone else request the floor for opening remarks before we
request
proceed?
the floor.
Senator Gatsby is recognized.
Thank you. Well, I just wanted to say that I'm grateful that I was elected to this body. And despite me having differences with many of the majority party members, I look forward to getting work done. And I'd also like to inquire, now that we've passed the agenda or approved the agenda, I just noticed item 6 should be titled Amendment to the USCAA instead of Amendment to the Code of the United States. So I'd like to inquire as to how we go about fixing that to the president.
Can you repeat what you were saying?
Yeah. item 6 should be titled Amendment to the USCAA. So do I just motion?
Is the motion to change item 6S 1603 amendment to the say it again?
USCAA.
Is there a second to the
I
motion?
second. In the spirit
I
of
second as
bipartisanship.
well.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. The title has been changed to Amendment to USCAA.
CAA.
Thank you,
I'd like to
Senator.
thank the president and the rest of the body, and with that, I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
And Senator Gatsby yields. Senator Sawyer, I believe, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to begin with saying, like Senator Walsh, it is an honor to be here in the 16th Congress, and I look forward to working with all of you throughout my next 2 months here. And it is also an honor to be elected the majority leader, and I look forward to working with, of course, the minority and independents. I look forward to getting much done, and I thank you all. I yield.
Senator yields. Does anyone else seek recognition before we move on?
I must proceed.
Is there a second?
Second.
We will proceed to the first item of business on the agenda. S1601, Supreme Court Discovery Amendment presented by Senator Jacobs. The floor is now open for
I
questions
request.
and debate. Senator Jacobs has the floor.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. In a recent Supreme Court case, Ashbrook v. United States, an issue came up where the petitioner attempted to cite S.1119, the Equal Discovery Act written by myself back in the 11th Congress. The Chief Justice concluded that the EDA did not apply to the Supreme Court, nevertheless civil cases. So with this amendment, this law will be fixed, so all rules in this amendment are applicable to all trials from the civil court to the Supreme Court, thus ensuring our citizens receive equal justice. So with that, I actually will vote in the affirmative, and I yield.
The senator yields. Does anyone else seek recognition?
I motion to proceed.
Second.
Is there a second? We will proceed to a vote on S1601, starting with Senator Breslin.
Aye.
Senator Breslin votes aye. Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Trafford votes aye via proxy. Senator Turner.
words.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
With that, the bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstains. We will now proceed to the second item on the agenda, SJ-Res 1601, the impartiality amendment presented by Senator Jacobs. The floor is now open.
I request floor again.
Senator Jacobs, you are recognized.
All right, thank you, and
If
can someone fix
could
that?
not blow their nose in their microphone, it would be appreciated.
Doing well.
Okay, may I proceed?
Senator Jacobs, you are recognized.
All right, thank you. Last Congress, I believe, a bill, which is now a law, was written to reestablish a Judicial Barring Act, which prohibited justices from actively joining parties, campaigning, and etc. So what this amendment does is essentially back up that law and put in a constitution and clearly outline the penalties for doing so, so we can actually hold our justice accountable and bring integrity back to the court. I yield.
I
Senator
request the
Yields,
floor.
Senator Turing, you're recognized.
After reading this, I truly believe that this amendment is very needed, or needed to the point that it, like Senator Leo said, it backs up what is already there. I personally believe that anyone in the judicial system should not be campaigning or be involved in a campaign or political party as it relates to Roblox. Obviously, that being said, they will have their opinions outside of the game, and so on and so forth. But I believe that this truly does, set up a good system for us, so that way there is no obvious bias, and there's no, that's the only way to put it. I believe obvious bias. And with that, I yield the time. Thank you.
The senator yields. Does anyone else seek recognition?
Second.
We will proceed to a vote. If the bill does not receive a number 7 threshold, the Senate may motion to revote and then move it to the wall. We will proceed to the vote. Senator Breslin.
Aye.
Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Trafford votes aye via proxy. Senator Turing.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
With 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions, this amendment passes and will be going to the House. We will now proceed to the third item on the agenda, SJ Res 1602, Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, proposed by Senator Dr. Gatsby. The floor is now open.
Excuse me, I have a question, quick question.
The senator is recognized.
On the first bill that was passed, should the I be 8? Because I'm counting 8, but it's only totaling up to 7. I'm not quite sure.
I'm seeing 8.
Why?
Oh, the first one.
The first one,
there was an issue. I apologize.
Okay, no worries. I just wanted to make sure I was not. I just want to clarify. Okay, that's it. I yield my time.
For clarifications, the first item on the agenda passed with 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 abstentions.
Right.
I apologize. There was an
No
issue
worries.
with the spreadsheet. Alrighty.
Appreciate
We are now on the third item on the agenda, SJ Res 1602, Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, presented by Senator Dr. Gatsby. The floor is now open for questions and debate.
I request the floor.
Senator Jacobs, you are recognized.
All right, thank you. While I admire the ambition of the gentleman senator from New Jersey, I don't think it's feasible with our current population size and current membership of all of our parties that we can fill a 25 member house. It's already hard enough to fill a 15 member house and to keep that full for an entire term, and I think just put some more burden on the parties, and I believe that at some point we'll run out of people. I yield.
I request the floor.
Senator Turing is recognized.
Though I do believe that Senator Leo's points are valid, that the current parties that we have right now cannot maybe fill these 25 seats, let's also take into account the math. Seeing that we have 25 seats, right, are equal to the 100% of the total seats, that would make each seat worth 4%, correct? In this past election, I'm trying to get up my calculations that I did. Essentially, we had several parties that went over that threshold of 4%. Therefore, their party got 1 seat, right? So that would mean that in reality, if parties got above 4%, let's say we had the Communist Party, just for the sake of argument, Communist Party, the Unity Party, the other parties may be created in the future as well. If they reach a threshold of 4%, then they automatically gain 1 seat, and that's 1 less seat that the majority or the majorities have to fill. So mathematically speaking, I think if we get more, perhaps if we get more political parties involved and created, that issue of maybe not having enough quote unquote people to fill the seats can be combated. That's again my own opinion. I just did the math, and I truly believe seeing the election that just passed and putting that into this scenario, I believe it would work. But again, Senator Leo's points are valid, and it boils down to the amount of people active in the group. Hopefully we can get the amount of people active in the group to a higher standard or to a higher number. And if so, then perhaps we can, come to this and have a 25-seat House of Representatives, which would be amazing. All in all, I truly believe that this might be a great system. And with that, I yield my time.
Senator
I
yields.
motion to propose an amendment.
Oh boy.
The senator will post his amendment in the chat.
Point of order.
The chair has the ability to recognize Mr. Jacobs. You should know that as President pro tempore. Is there a second to?
I second.
All right. I will. 1 second. Let me add the amendment to the agenda. One moment. Insert 14 below. The floor is open for debate on the amendment. If the senator wishes to speak on his amendment, please do so.
Let me read this real quick.
I request the floor.
Senator Gatsby is recognized.
Thank you. This amendment obviously cuts down what I had originally planned to expand the House to, which would be 25. So we're going from 25 to 19. And I just like to touch on some of the points that the Democratic senator from New York made about difficulty filling, how difficult it would be to fill the seats if we did have 25. So, in our most recent election we had a couple days ago, we had 4 candidates run for the Senate and not attain a seat, and we had 3 independent candidates run for the House and not obtain a seat. So that would be a total of 7 candidates who ran for Congress, did not win. 15 plus 7 come out to 22. So that's still 3 shy of the 25 mark. However, it's obviously more than 15. So I do support the senator from Georgia's amendment because it would work out, especially if we took these candidates that did not win the 7 candidates that did not obtain a seat in Congress. I think 19 is a more feasible number. It's easier to obtain. It's more realistic. And with that, I yield the floor.
I request.
Senator Walsh is recognized.
Thank you. While I understand your point, one thing that we have to take into consideration, while 6 people, or I think it was either 6 or 7 you said, while 6 or 7 people may have run for Congress and lost last election, that doesn't mean that those people should have been in the House. I mean, just because you run for public office doesn't mean you should be in public office. And another point I want to raise is that while it is very possible that we could fill 19 seats, one of the issues we have is constant resignations and people leaving, and us having to fill that seat rather than focus on policy and such like that. That's why Senator Kaine and I and others worked on lowering the Senate from 12 to 10 because we felt like that was too many people. And overall, I just think that, I haven't been hearing many citizens complain about, oh yeah, well we need 19 members in the House. It's not really a substantial issue because I think that 15 is a perfect number. We're doing fine as it is. We were able to fill all 15 seats. And honestly, I think unless some problem comes up in the future to where we need to increase it to 19, then we should, but I see no issue posed by wanting to propose this amendment. So, we also, another issue I want to bring up is we have several positions outside of Congress, such as the Supreme Court, such as the departments, such as our agency leadership, where we struggle to fill spots. So those are 4 representatives that we're putting in the House that could have gone somewhere else to help our departments and such. We never have problems filling the House, unless we increase it to 19, but we have problems with departments and agencies and such like that. And you also have to... and another thing I want to point out is that our last Senate, before in the 15th Congress, 6 of those 10 senators resigned, and the president had to appoint someone to fill their spot. And I think it comes to a point to where we are more focused on keeping positions filled and covering our asses from resignations rather than making policy and rather than focusing on those issues. If we, in the future, have this exponential increase in our population to where it's possible, then I think we should. But I think at this point, we need to be focusing on not adding more House seats and focus on the departments and our agencies where we really do need people. And with that, I would encourage everyone in the Senate to vote down the amendment and obviously the original 25 proposed, and I yield my time.
I request the floor.
The senator yields. Senator Turing is recognized.
I agree with many of the points the senator from Texas brought up. One thing that I think that it all boils down to is as Senator Walsh stated, was activity. Currently, our population size, though significant, I mean, I would like to remind the Senate that we are over 7,000 members or around there, which is significantly so compared to the 25 number. It's minuscule. But again, we have to look at the people that are active within our group, and I'm sad to say that it is usually the same or the same people that can be put on a hand or fingers, whatever. And that's sad because we should be trying to bring in more people, and hopefully with the Discord being set up how it is and the link being provided, we can gather more people and get more people involved. And like as Senator Walsh said, into our departments and into things that really do need people into them. And perhaps if after all of that is well and done, perhaps we could raise it to 19 or some number above 10, reasonable number. I think this is a great piece of legislation that we should keep onto it for later use and not be discouraged that if this is voted down, that, it's a failure. But think of it as it's being voted down because currently our the current state of the union may not be in the best shape as we think it is due to the, though we are active within the same people, we're not bringing in new people into departments and so on. So all in all, I just want to say this is great. I would love to raise the House Representative seat because mathematically it makes more sense, and as people know, I love math. But taking into consideration the points that many of the other senators have brought in, I do believe that this should be voted down, but kept on the back burner for later use when we are at a time when we have the amount of people and not have to worry about vacancies, because right now we're worrying about that and not worrying about policy, and that kind of, it's a balancing game where it's like, okay, we're going to do policy, and then all of a sudden, as Senator Walsh stated, 6 senators or 6 whatever, how many people resign, and then now it's a game of getting those vacancies filled and not worrying about policy and the core issues of this group. I yield my time.
Motion to proceed.
Mr. President, I request the floor.
Senator Breslin is recognized.
I also see another flaw in this bill, in this amendment and the original piece of legislation as well, where it doesn't mention at all how these new seats will be filled, whether a special election will be called, or whether the parties will appoint based off of their percentages from the recent election. So without that being included in the amendment or the bill, I can't see how we would fill these additional 5 seats. excuse me, these additional 4 seats. And with that, I yield the floor.
True.
The senator yields.
I motion to proceed to a vote on the amendment.
Is there a second?
I believe, I don't know if anyone heard, but I requested the floor.
Oh.
I apologize.
Segundo.
Senator Turing, you are recognized.
I just want to make a quick point. I think we have, again, looking at it mathematically, I think we can get it done. But again, it all comes down to the activity, and it's a game of, you know, it's a weighing game where we can take the risk and maybe get it for a couple weeks, and then people resign, and then, you know, so on and so forth. So I urge all senators to really think about this, and maybe it, you know, it may not be the exact time to have this.
Does the senator yield?
I yield. I apologize. Yes.
I motion to
Senator
proceed to a
yields.
vote on the
Second.
We will proceed to a vote on the amendment to SJ Res 1602 presented by Roman Steele to lower the number presented by Senator Gatsby from 25 to 19. Senator Breslin.
Abstain.
Senator Breslin votes abstain. Senator Gatsby. Senator Gatsby, your vote on the amendment. Senator Gatsby, your vote on the amendment.
Doing well.
Senator Gatsby, do you wish to vote on the amendment? Your mic's muted.
I believe
Aye,
he said
chat.
aye in the chat.
Thank you. Senator Gatsby votes aye via the chat. Senator Jacobs.
Nay.
Senator Jacobs votes nay. Senator Sawyer.
Nay.
Senator Steele. Senator Trafford is not here to vote, so let me fix that. Senator Turing.
Didn't Trafford put his proxy?
Yeah, he proxied.
He did not vote on the amendment.
Oh.
I see. I apologize.
Senator Turing, your vote.
I vote aye.
Senator Walsh.
Nay.
The amendment has 3 in favor, 3 against, 1 abstention. As the vice president with the power vested in me to break the tie, I vote in the affirmative of the amendment.
I motion to move the vote on the constitutional amendment to the wall, seeing as it needs 2/3 majority.
One moment. Fixing an error. So, the amendment passes with a tie-breaking vote, and there is a motion on the floor to move the vote to wall. Is there a second?
I second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have the
Abstain.
bill to be sent to the wall. All right. We will proceed to the 4th item on the agenda, SJ Res 1603, Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, presented by Senator Dr. Gatsby. The floor is now open for debate.
I request.
Senator Gatsby is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. This amendment is pretty self-explanatory, and it is supported by the founder. Essentially, right now the system we have is that if a senator is elected as an independent and resigns, the president can fill the seat completely at his discretion. So he can nominate a Democrat to fill the seat, a Republican, whoever he or she so chooses. It's my opinion that while the president is an elected official, the person elected to the seat should make the decision as he was elected by the people to that seat, and he or she should be in charge of deciding who their successor is, from the party at least. So the independent gets to choose which party the seat would go to, and the president has to nominate in accordance with that. So I encourage my colleagues to vote in favor, and I yield the floor.
Mr. President,
Senator yields. Senator Breslin.
I request that we recall the roll.
Oh my god.
What?
Jesus Christ. I
There's a
second the
motion to recall the roll.
Segundo.
Segundo.
All right.
Aquí.
Oh, Ramsey decided to show up. That's wonderful. Senator Breslin.
Present.
Senator Clark.
Aqui, Marcia.
If you could speak English, Ramsey. We're not doing this bullshit again.
Point of order.
Your point of order is not recognized. You will speak in English. You will say here, and we will proceed. Senator Clark, are you present or not?
Here, and we will proceed.
Thank you. Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
I.
I'm here.
Senator Rubio is absent. Senator Sawyer.
Present.
Senator Steele.
Present.
Senator Trafford is here via proxy. Senator Turing.
Present as ever.
Senator Walsh.
I'm here, brother boy.
All right. With 8 present, 1 absent, and 1 proxy, a quorum is still present of the Senate. And we will proceed to the 4th item on the agenda, SJ Res 1603, Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, as we were already on it. The floor is still open for questions and debate on the amendment.
A motion to proceed.
I request the floor.
Senator Turing, you are recognized.
I apologize that if people become frustrated with me trying to discuss a bill that changes the Constitution, but I deem it necessary that we talk about it. I do believe that having the independent senator decide the vacancy of decide who takes her seat in the event of a vacancy is a little mind-boggling to me, because it just seems like you can put in besides the party. Oh, I see. Let me see. Must decide which political caucus. I see. Still, that doesn't seem very. I don't know. If any senators could perhaps maybe talk to me about how this might be a good idea, I would be more than happy to hear about it. And with that, I abstain. Or I yield my time.
I request.
Senator Turing yields. Senator Gatsby are recognized.
Thank you. So to answer the senator from California's question of how this is a good idea, I'll use myself as an example. It's well known that I'm very much against a specific party in this group, and I'm an independent in the Senate, caucusing with the Unity Party. Now, if I was to resign my seat, which I was elected, I assume predominantly because this election was seen as almost a referendum on the party in power. If I was to resign the seat, I assume that the president, being a Democrat, would nominate a Democrat to fill my seat, which would be somewhat counterintuitive, seeing as I was elected predominantly because I'm seen as, or the party I seem as an opposition force to the status quo. So, I don't think it's fair that the president would be able to fill the seat, whereas the person who was elected to fill the seat wouldn't be able to choose his or her successor in terms of just the party. So that's my rationale, and I hope that answers the senator's question. I yield the floor.
I request.
Senator Gatsby yields. Senator Walsh is recognized.
Now, I'm going to say something here that's going to shock a lot of people. I agree with Gatsby. Now, the concept of an independent in the House picking their successor is sort of, not technically, but sort of already in place, because if you'll remember, when Combatant was the only independent in the House, he was allowed to change his independent status to the Unity Party and gave up his seat to the Unity Party, meaning that if he were to resign or leave the House or whatever, then the Unity Party would be able to fill that seat. And I feel like putting this concept in the Senate would be the same as what we have in the House already, is that if an independent senator resigns, you can say, oh yeah, well, this party has to fill my seat, this party has to fill my seat. I feel it's the same concept that we've already have in the House, and I wouldn't be opposed to having it in the Senate also. So I yield.
The senator yields. The floor is still open for questions and debate.
I motion to proceed to a vote.
Oh, no, I motion to move this to a wall vote, seeing as it's a constitutional amendment and it requires 2/3 to pass.
2/3. I
Is there a
second that.
Nay.
All in
Third.
favor of the motion say aye.
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 All
Aye.
opposed, nay. In the opinion
Nay.
of the chair, the ayes have it.
Damn it.
You know, I wish you could have proper decorum, Senator Clark, since you decided to come in
Okay.
late. Thank you.
¿Por qué?
Oh no, he's gone.
Rare.
Alright, Senator Leo. Oh.
Ah, there he is.
Yes.
You can cut out. And now I can server mute, so that makes things even better. So item number 4 was moved to the wall. We will proceed to the 5th item on the agenda, S1602, Amendment to the Obsolete Law Repeal Act, presented by Senator Gatsby. The floor is open for questions and debate.
I request.
Senator Gatsby is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill just includes in the bill that had passed last Congress that many of the senators voted on already, the Class 1 senators, which is the Obsolete Law Repeal Act. This bill includes the Fair Sentencing Act, which has to do, was proposed by the senator from New York, which reduces sentences in the Criminal Offense and Punishment Act, which is no longer law. And I had missed it in the first draft, so here it is now. I encourage my colleagues to vote in the affirmative. I yield.
I motion.
Senator yields.
I request to.
Senator Turing is recognized.
Oh, I said I motion to proceed.
Is there
Second.
a second?
I believe
We will
Jeff-
vote on the 5th item on the agenda, S1602. Senator Breslin.
Aye.
Did I say I said the 5th, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Senator Breslin votes aye. Senator Clark.
Abstain.
Senator Clark, your vote?
Abstain.
Senator Clark, your vote.
Abstain.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Abstain like 3 times.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't hear him. I
Third time's a
apologize.
charm.
Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
I vote in the affirmative.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Trafford votes aye via proxy. Senator Turing.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
The bill passes with 8 votes in the affirmative, 0 nays, 1 abstention. We will now proceed to the 6th item on the agenda, S1603, Amendment to the USCCAA, presented by Senator Gatsby. The floor is now open for questions and debate.
I request.
Senator Gatsby is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. All this bill does, or all this amendment does, is, well, first of all, it adds a section which would be the enactment clause, which for some reason this bill is missing in the first place. So that's one thing. The second thing it does is it changes the precedent for how the code should be updated. The original procedure that was laid out hasn't been followed thus far. And just recently I took the courtesy of making an as-amended version of the U.S. Code while keeping the original. And I forwarded it to the Attorney General, which she's thanked me for. So this precedent's already being followed, so this would just put it into law. And I encourage all my colleagues to vote in the affirmative.
Does the senator yield?
I yield, yes.
Motion
Thank you,
to
Senator
proceed.
Gatsby. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, we will proceed to a vote on the sixth item on the agenda at 16:03. Senator Breslin,
No.
Senator Breslin votes nay. Senator Clark,
Nay.
Senator Gatsby,
Aye.
Senator Jacobs,
Abstain.
Senator Sawyer,
Nay.
Interesting.
Senator Steele, Senator Steele. Ramsey, if you could quit being an idiot, I would appreciate it. Senator Steele, your vote, please. Thank you. Senator Trafford was not here to vote on the revised amendment, so I will mark him as absent on this vote. Senator Turing,
I vote aye.
Senator Walsh,
Sorry to not vote here, but this was the bill that was like changed after the fact, right?
this was changed after the fact, hence why Senator Trafford was
yeah.
marked absent.
Okay, yeah, I know, I was just making sure because, okay, I vote aye.
I vote aye.
Who's changed their vote to an aye?
I believe that was Mr. Steele.
Did.
Senator Steele votes aye with 4 in the affirmative, 3 against, 1 abstention. The bill passes. We will proceed to the 7th item on the agenda, the S-1606 Military Reformation Repeal Act, presented by Senator Steele. The floor is open for questions and debate.
I have a point of order, actually.
State your point of order.
I believe that this bill was, there was a motion, you probably didn't see it, there was a motion on the wall to send this bill to committee, and it was seconded.
Re-motion it here then?
Leo made the motion. I don't know if he wants to do it again in September.
I mean, I don't see the purpose of sending bills to committees
I
when
don't
it's set
know,
up.
I was just bringing it up. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just stating. Is there a motion to put this bill on the wall? Or in committee?
Committee.
Seeing that there is no motion, we will continue to debate on this this bill. The floor is still open.
I request.
Senator Jacobs, you are recognized.
Would the author of this bill yield to a question?
Will Senator Steele yield to a question?
Yes, I will.
Thank you, Senator Steele.
All right, thank you. Are you aware of what exactly the revised Goldwater-Nichols Act does?
Changes part of the real life U.S. code, I believe.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you say it again?
It changes parts of the real life U.S. code.
Okay. So why would you like to repeal this bill?
Because it's no longer enforceable since we don't use real life code anymore. Or real life laws.
Okay. And why would you like to repeal the Military Reformation Act 2016?
Because it is with the revised the other bill which I'm repealing, so it makes no sense to have it anymore.
Okay. I yield.
I request.
Senator yield. Senator Walsh is recognized.
I just want to kind of speak on this because this was repealing one of my bills. I support this, the repeal of these two bills. Senator Steele and I had a conversation I think a couple of days ago regarding this bill, and I told him that he can repeal this bill and I can propose kind of like a Obamacare repeal and replace. But I was going to propose a replacement for the Goldwater-Nichols Act, and he was going to repeal it. And he's right. The current Goldwater-Nichols Act, as it stands, is not enforceable because it does amend portions of the real-life U.S. Code, which, as you all know, we don't go by the real-life U.S. Code anymore. So the bill after this one, what is it called? The Military U.S. Code Inclusion Act, kind of is the replacement for Goldwater Nichols, in which it amends our current U.S. Code to comply. So I urge colleagues to vote in favor of this bill, and I yield.
Senator yields. The floor is still open for debate. Due to the lack of debate, we will proceed to a vote on the seventh item on the agenda, S1606. Senator Breslin.
Aye.
Senator Clark.
Aye.
Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Trafford votes abstain via proxy. Senator Turing.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
With 8 votes in the affirmative, 0 against, and 1 abstention, the bill passes. We will proceed to the 8th item on the agenda, S1604, Second Obsolete Law Repeal Act, presented by myself. The floor is open for
I
questions
motion
and
to a
debate.
floor vote.
What?
I said I motion to a vote.
Do you mean a wall vote?
No, a vote. Like, proceed to a vote.
Oh,
Right,
you should
that's
have
a floor
proceed
vote.
instead of floor.
Same thing.
It's motion to proceed. Is there a second? to
Mr.
the motion to
President.
proceed?
Second.
We will proceed to a vote. Senator Breslin.
Aye.
Senator Clark.
Aye.
Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Trafford votes aye via proxy. Senator Turing
Abstain.
abstains. Senator Walsh.
Aye.
With 8 votes in the affirmative, 0 against, 1 abstain, the bill passes. We will proceed to the 9th item on the agenda, S1605, the Rights of Employees Act, presented by myself. We will proceed. The floor is open for questions and debate. Does anyone seek recognition on the 9th item on the agenda?
Motion to proceed.
Is there
I
a
second.
Senator Breslin, your vote.
Aye. Aye.
Senator Clark.
Yay.
Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
Aye.
Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Steele. Senator Steele. Say it one more time.
Aye.
Senator Trafford votes aye via proxy. Senator Turing.
Abstain.
Oops, sorry. Senator Turing votes abstain. Senator Walsh.
Aye.
With 8 in the affirmative, 0 against, 1 abstention, the bill passes. We will now proceed to the 10th item on the agenda, SRES 1601, Improving Committee's Repeal Act, presented by Senator Steele. The floor is open for questions and debate.
I motion to proceed to a vote.
Was there a second?
A
Second.
It's a good
We
one.
proceed to a vote. Senator Breslin.
Aye.
Senator Clark.
Nay.
Oops, change your name to nay. Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
Abstain.
Senator Sawyer.
Abstain.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Turing.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
Aye.
With 6 votes in the affirmative, 1 against, 2 abstention, the bill passes and will be recognized by the Senate as it is a Senate resolution. We will proceed to the 11th item on the agenda, S1607, Military U.S. Code Inclusion Act of 2017, presented by Senator Walsh. Do you mind? Thank you. Senator, the floor is open for questions and debate.
I request.
Senator Walsh, you are recognized.
Thank you. And essentially the bulk of this bill is just a continuance of what we repealed not too long ago, which was the Goldwater-Nichols Act, which was proposed in 2016 by myself, and I was Chief of Staff. And essentially what it does is what Gadsby's original bill did, which was just establish the Department of the Army. It establishes the duties of the Secretary of Defense and establishes the Chief of Staff of the Army as the military advisor to the President, the National Security Council, etc., etc. Whereas in the real-life U.S. Code, that those duties are typically given to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Now that we only have one branch of the military, we have no need for a Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, so these duties logically would be given to the Chief of Staff of the Army. So it's pretty simple. I think that it's a good replacement for the Goldwater-Nichols Act, and I encourage everyone to vote in the affirmative, and I yield.
Senator yields. The floor is still open.
I motion to proceed.
I second that
We
motion.
will proceed to a vote. Senator Breslin.
Aye.
Senator Clark.
Aye.
Senator Gatsby.
Aye.
Senator Jacobs.
I vote in the affirmative.
Thank you. Senator Sawyer.
Aye.
Senator Steele.
Aye.
Senator Trafford votes aye via proxy. Senator Turing.
Aye.
Senator Walsh.
I vote aye.
Thank you. With 9 votes in the affirmative, 0 against, 0 abstaining, the bill passes.
I had to think about it.
Hope to God this is it. That is the last item on the agenda. We will proceed to
I
closing
request the
remarks.
floor.
I request the floor.
Oh
Damn it.
boy.
I was first. Thank you.
Damn it.
Well, I get to choose who goes, so... I don't
Mr.
care.
President,
We'll try this again. We will proceed.
I request
to
the
closing
floor.
remarks. Senator Clark, you are recognized.
hi. Okay, hi guys. Sorry I couldn't be here in the beginning. I wanted to welcome Senator Gatsby and Pierre to the first session of the 16th Congress. Yeah, in the first session, and I hope that you guys will learn a lot being here, and I'm looking forward to work with you guys. So yeah, I yield the floor.
I request the
Thank
floor.
God. Senator
my-
Turing.
God.
I would like to thank all the senators for healthy discussion and for good discussion. I believe that we had a really productive session, and I want to give a shout out to all my Spanish-speaking people out there. That's about. I'm not going to speak Spanish. I'm just giving them a shout out. Again, on a serious note, that was just joking around. On a serious note, I do believe that we had a really productive session today, and that it was just a lot of people working together, and like I say, just good discussion. And I'm glad that we're having it, and we're getting things done, so to speak. So with that, I yield.
I request.
Senator Gatsby is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to thank the senator from Missouri for his warm welcome, and I would like to thank all of my colleagues of all political caucuses for making tonight's session a good one. And
Rip Rubio.
Ramsey, things would run smoothly if you had just shut up.
And I'd like to leave off on a shout out to all my English speaking people. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Senator Gatsby.
I
Does
request the
anyone-
floor.
Senator Jacobs, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for everyone coming out tonight to the session. Welcome to the Senate Gatsby Turing. I think that's it. Welcome. You guys would do great things here. And I'd like to read a quick excerpt of The Role of Cognitive Stimulation at Home and Low-Income Preschoolers Nutrition Physical Activity Biomass Index. So here,
Flip.
please, let me read. Thank you. Childhood obesity has more than tripled in the last 30 years. With the prevalence of 8. I yield.
I request the floor.
I have no clue what the fuck you just said, but Senator Green is recognized.
Am I recognized?
Yes, you are.
I would like to actually take this time to say that anybody watching the stream or any of the senators here, I actually just, during this session, finished up one of the scripts for the game. And if anybody has backgrounds for the phone that they would like to have in-game, it can be politics related, it can be not politics related, but any pictures I'm more than happy to take, because right
And
now
still
the more
appropriate.
pictures... yeah, obviously appropriate. Right now I already have
Darn it.
three, or I actually have the 2 backgrounds made, one for GOP, one for Democrats, so you can actually pick those, and it's like a blue background and a red background with the respective animal and decor and everything.
Why not Unity?
So, you know what? I'll get to that later.
I have a question for Senator Turner.
You know, this is not a time for questions. This is time for closing remarks. Senator,
but
Okay,
anywho,
Senator Turing, so-
okay,
Senator
well,
Clark, if you fail to keep proper decorum, you will be expelled from the Senate. And I am not that threat.
and I would
So
just like
here's
to
the
read.
thing.
Okay.
Proceed.
I apologize. I would like to read a quick Wikipedia article named Fermat's Last Theorem. It's a great mathematical theorem. It has a great conjecture that's like about 2 pages long, so if I could just get through that. And I'm obviously joking, and I yield my time.
I request.
Thank you, Senator.
Damn it, Terrence.
Senator Walsh is recognized.
Bienvenidos al Senador Pierre y al Senador Gatsby. Este será un gran término. Gracias por una gran sesión. I yield.
Thank you, Senator Walsh. Does
Mr.
anyone
President,
else-
I request the floor.
Senator Breslin, you are recognized.
All right, on a more serious note,
Oh.
as as some of you may or may not be aware, tonight's legislative session will be my last. Effective this coming Sunday, I will be resigning my Senate seat to explore open paths, other paths open to me in this country. I regret choosing tonight to make this announcement after the multiple mentions of multiple resignations, but so be it. I would like to wish this body the best in their upcoming legislative session, and I hope to work with you all in the future. And with that, Mr. President, for the last time, I yield the floor.
Thank you, Senator Breslin, for your heart-touching remarks. The floor
I
is still
request-
open for
I
closing
request.
remarks.
I
Senator
request.
Gatsby, you are recognized.
I would just like to. This is the first time I'm hearing about the senator from Rhode Island's departure.
Too bad it's not the senator from Missouri.
What?
Senator Gatsby, are you finished with your closing remarks? Senator Gatsby.
Senator Gatsby.
I motion to force yield
Senator
Senator
Gatsby.
Gatsby.
I second.
I second.
Point of order.
All in favor say aye.
I
Hold on a second.
Nay.
All opposed,
Nay, 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 nay,
Chair.
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
I request the floor.
Senator Gatsby, if you could speak instead of acting like this, I would appreciate it. Senator Gatsby, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the first time I'm hearing of the senator from Rhode Island's departure. And although we're of different political caucuses, I would just like to thank him for his service. And I want him to know that I respect him. No homo. I yield the floor.
Thank you. The floor is still open for closing
I
remarks.
request.
Senator Clark, you are
Okay,
recognized.
hold on. My dogs are barking.
I motion to adjourn.
I second.
I third.
Point of order. I believe
Senator
the senator.
Clark,
I motion to adjourn. I motion to adjourn.
Yes, I wanted to dedicate
if
this.
we
I will not yield. I motion to adjourn.
Order. Senator Clark, your closing remarks. And
Yes,
this is
this-
not American Idol, so you can give closing remarks via your voice, or we can adjourn.
All right. Amazing.
We're doing great.
Okay,
Okay,
I
we're-
yield.
Thank God. Too bad it's not the senator from Missouri leaving instead of the senator from Rhode Island.
Oh,
Is there a motion to adjourn on the
No.
floor?
I motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Is
Second.
there a second? All in
Segundo.
favor, say aye.
nay,
Nay.
All opposed, nay.
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 In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
The chair needs a good opinion.
Motion to revote.
I
the
second.
motion.
All in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
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 Oh, that's
In the
an-
opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Motion to vote on
Motion
a
to
one-by-one
revote.
basis.
Yeah.
We
I
are
motion to
adjourned.
I second.
I motion
I
to vote
second.
on a 1-by-1 basis.
I
We are
second.
Second.
adjourned
All right.
at 10:31.